Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join this call today. I do appreciate each and every one of you. I know that work can be busy, but I promise we're going to go over some really valuable information here today. For starters, I am going to start with a quick introduction about myself. My name is India Thompson. I am the CEO and founder of the Dare to Care Corporation. I founded the company in 2020 with a goal and a mission to help small businesses such as your corporation, Acme Coffee Company, to reach and obtain their goals to make them competitive in whatever line of business that they are in. So I am honored to partner with each and every one of you today, and I look forward to what's to come in your future. So just a quick overview of what we're going to cover today. Okay, so I'm going to start with, of course, our mission. As you're already aware, your company, I have been called in by your company to help reach a goal of excellent customer service, as well as make sure we are focusing on the company culture. We want to make sure all of the employees feel valued, they feel heard, they enjoy work. That's going to be a way that we can get and retain employees, and that's going to make all the difference in the business's success. So I'm going to start with some quotes, and I apologize. I'm going to be looking at my notes here. I like to make sure I'm covering everything with you guys. So for starters, Frank Louveau on the EHL Insights page, he defined some benefits of having excellent customer service as customer loyalty, improving your brand's image, and that gives you that competitive advantage. You are in the coffee industry. We know one of the big names right now is Starbucks, but I'm confident that you guys will surpass Starbucks. I'll look forward to that. Also, the LSA Global 8 in the article of attributions of healthy corporation culture. They listed company culture definition as one in which the corporate values and behaviors are consistently lived across the organization. So we want that consistency, like they stated, across the organization. So just all in all, my goal and mission here today is to get your company to go from this, the lovely Grinch, to this. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to do that. I've done some research and researched your company, kind of researched the market that you guys are in. And 3 areas that I feel are important are going to be listening, effective communication, as well as effective meetings. We're going to go over each of these topics more in depth and how they can help your company. With listening, the goal is always to understand the customer as well as the employee's desires. When I refer to customer, that's going to be your literal coffee customer, so the people who are coming in, buying your product, but it also refers to you guys, the employees. You are the customer of management or in those of a higher position or higher status. So having both sorts of customers happy is going to make the company very successful. Team communication is important. It's always important for teams to be on the same page as one another so that we can achieve any and every goal that the company has set out to. Also in meetings are going to be important in a company. They're going to provide you with the goals. They're going to provide you with the outline and how we plan to achieve those goals. However, if we're not having effective meetings to where people understand what's happening, why it's happening, when it's happening, what are we doing, then we're just talking in circles amongst each other. So that is equally as important as listening and effective team communication. So we're going to start off going into active listening. So the way I learn is always by you tell me what we're going over, then you tell me why or how it is, and then how it benefits, and what are we going to do with it? So that's kind of the format that I'm going to have here for you guys today. So for starters, with active listening, we're going to start just with the basics of what is it. Active listening can be defined as one abilities to receive and interpret information during the verbal communication process. A highlighted point there is not just to receive, but also to interpret the information. So we want to make sure we're hearing somebody, but we also want to make sure that we are being receptive to whatever it is that they're saying, whether that's the customer telling you, oh, can I get more creamer, or oh, I'm upset because this happened yesterday, or an employee stating, I am frustrated with this process, or I need help with this. We want to make sure we're hearing them and interpreting what the message is. And then we go into how can we achieve that active listening. Simply Psychology has listed an article on active listening, and they stated you can achieve active listening by paying attention to what is being communicated verbally and non-verbally. Based on the content of the message, you should also interpret their emotions as well as the body language. And then lastly, why is active listening important? Well, we have James Walshire in the article of The Importance of Listening Skills in Communication, stating that active listening helps improve relationships in the workplace, but also in society, so your personal relationships. And it's going to help to maintain a more effective decision, and it's also going to reach a quicker agreement with others. So when we active listen, we're interpreting what the issue is. We're also going to determine what the solution is for whomever it is that we are talking to. So it does all start with listening to whatever is being told or advised to you. With active listening, authors Watson, Baker, and Weaver have identified 4 different types of listening styles in their listening styles profile article. It's important to know the different listening styles and listening types of not only yourself, but also of those around you, again, your customer, whomever that may be at the time, because it's going to show you how to receive as well as how to communicate and respond to them in that manner. So the first listening style that we're going to go to is a people-oriented style. This is pretty much those that like to find common interests with others, as well as they're going to be in touch with their emotions and interests. An example of this would be asking customers, how's your day, or asking your coworkers about their weekend. They're trying to find that common ground outside of the task or the workspace to start with those personal and work appropriate relationships. The second one that we're going to go into is action-oriented styles. And this is pretty much the group of people that look for organization and precision. So they like for things to be neat, clean, error-free presentations. An example of this one is going to be an employee liking their boss to have an organized presentation or a PowerPoint on whatever new product is being rolling out. So you guys may be rolling out a Christmas flavored or themed type of coffee, and someone in the room liking their boss to kind of have everything in order, point A, B, C, just a clear outline of what's going on. The third one is going to be content-oriented style. And this is those group of people that like that intellectual challenge. They like to attend to the details and think things through thoroughly. So that's going to be people who, an example of that would be those who like to be involved in political conversations, or something that makes them think more in depth about things, whether there's their own views or values, kind of have those that dialogue with other people. And then the last one is going to be a time-oriented style. Those are those people that like things to be quick, to the point, like, this is what it is, this is what we're doing, so we can go on taking up as little time as possible, but still retaining the most amount of information. An example of that would be a doctor who's very busy, liking for nurses to have patients' charts already available, a brief overview of what's happening with them, so that way they can move on go attend to the patient and then go on to the next one and things like that. So I would like for you guys to just take a moment, kind of think about what you feel your active listening style is, and then also think about what active listening style you feel you struggle with the most in terms of your customer. And I'll give you a second to do that. Okay, so now that we've had a moment to do that, I will go ahead and tell you mine. I'm more of a people-oriented type of person. I like to, make those connections. I feel like it makes things easier in terms of work, whether it's delivering good news, bad news, and I've also been in customer service a long time, so I like to build that rapport. That's just what I'm comfortable with. The listening style that I struggle with the most, I would say, is going to be a time-oriented style. And that's pretty much just going to be because that's pretty much the opposite. People that like to be boom, 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 like, to the point, here's what it is, this is where it's going. So that's the first portion as far as our listening. So it's important, to make sure we're listening and receiving information. The next thing that we're going to go into is effective team communication. So we have, of course, that communication with our customers, but we also want to make sure we're communicating well with one another. You guys see each other a lot every day. You work with each other a lot. Effective team communication is equally as important. So the start of that, I have a search that I did from an author, Gail, on an article about team communications. And they list the definition of team communication as the way that each team member relates to one another through exchanging or voicing ideas and asking for assistance from one another. And then team communication is going to be important because communicating is important in groups as it helps eliminate misunderstandings that maybe lead to a unhealthy work environment. So I'm a firm believer in your work environment, and those that you work with make all the difference in your experience at a job. So if you have a team that is comfortable with one another, you guys respect one another, you know how to properly communicate with each other, you're going to have a great experience at the job. There are going to be difficult days. However, you're going to have a great experience at the job. Whereas if it's the opposite of that, you guys are always arguing, or it's a hostile work environment, you may feel like it's the worst place ever. Same workload, however, just a different dynamic amongst yourself and your team. So what we have here, we're going to start off looking at is a chart. I put together a chart, and I gathered this information from the Ken Blanchard Companies. It was an article titled "The Critical Roles of Teams." This graph here is showing some of a survey that they did amongst teams in regards to barriers of the team effectiveness. So pretty much what teams felt like were difficult or what made it difficult as far as team communication. As you can see, the top three here are going to be ineffective communication, which we just kind of went over, lack of goal setting. So pretty much just communicating, but not clear as to what are we trying to achieve or accomplish here. And then the third one being lack of understanding of the role. So that'll be not understanding the part that you may play in this huge puzzle, which is just as important. Every individual is important, and you were all selected to be here or selected for the company as a fit for the company. So how you feel is very important to the company. In addition to that, some more statistics from the Ken Blanchard Companies in regards to what employees felt were the most frustrating aspects of participating on the team. We have ineffective use of meeting time at 54%. We have, sorry, let me go back to my notes here. Okay, we have ineffective use of meeting time at 54%, ineffective communication at 50%, lack of accountability at 47%, uncompleted assignments at 44%, and lack of preparation at 41%. So these are all things that we pretty much want to be mindful of when we're communicating with one another or when we're determining what's next. So once again, my goal here coming in to you guys today is to get your company, which includes your team dynamic, to go from this to this. Happy employee is a happy company. Happy company is a successful company. It's my philosophy. And so some strategies that we have here as far as how we can effectively communicate with one another is going to be brought to us by the McKinsey and Company article that I have here. And this is a lovely chart that I was able to obtain from them. So some strategies that we could be mindful of and use. The first one is going to be to resolve conflicts quickly. With resolving conflicts quickly, let's see here. That's going to eliminate, the miscommunication amongst team members. That's going to keep, things from brewing or becoming worse. The second being encourage engagement amongst the individuals and the teams. That gets everyone involved and included. The third one, promote bottom-up communication. So that's pretty much just each individual employee providing their opinion or their thoughts on things. Everyone's thoughts and beliefs are heard, valued, and are important to the company. Fourth, being strive for transparency. So we want to be open, upfront, and direct with one another in a professional and respectful way. 5, be to schedule those one-on-one meetings with your teams. So therefore, you guys can know, what's going on, be updated, have you give your, personal grievances or, ideas or just anything, keep up to date as far as where you are, what the goals are. And the 6th being going hand in hand with that is to provide that consistent feedback to the employees. It's very important for them to know where they are, what they're doing well, what they can improve on, and what part that they play in the company. And then to go along with that, as far as effective meetings, we have here from the McKinsey and Company, what is an effective meeting? This is where our team members get together with a common goal, using their thoughts and ideas. Effective meetings all around bring about the purpose, the preparation, and the presentation. So effective meetings are going to give you an outline determining what's being talked about, what the goal is, what the expectation is, what the plan is, and it's going to be done in a professional and organized manner so that everyone is clear as to what is taking place. Some benefits of effective meetings that is being brought to us by LeBlanc and Nosik, authors LeBlanc and Nosik. Some benefits would include generating a return of a meeting investment of time. So yes, you may spend 30 minutes to an hour in a meeting. However, the amount of information that you come out with was worth every second of the meeting. It offers a platform for generating ideas. So this is where you open up the floor to those employees to give their ideas, because everyone has great ideas. So people can decide, determine, oh, hey, I think we should do this, or this may help us generate more revenue. This may help us get more customers. This may help us retain more customers. So just hearing different opinions and views. Detecting and dissolving problems. So it'll help you identify, any potential issues or any underlying issues. And that would be in those meetings where everyone is present. It would be a great time to address those so that everyone's on the same page. It also gives you opportunity to assign tasks to the employees, so that pretty much distributes the work, again, making sure everyone's on the same page as far as where we are, what we're doing, what my role is specifically. This also gives you the opportunity to monitor or discuss performance, whether that's individual, team-based, or just overall company performance. And it does enhance those interpersonal relationships. So meetings give you the opportunity to bond with each other, meet someone new, again, bounce off ideas off of each other, just strengthening those relationships where everyone feels like they have something to contribute and the company cares enough to allow them to contribute. So that's what we covered, the what is it, as well as the what are the benefits. And then in continuation with the effective meetings, Guerrillo had an article about companies and their traditions and why it's important to have traditions. One example that they did provide in the article was Starbucks, is your competition's tradition. They stated that Starbucks has a tradition where in every meeting they start with a customer story. So it may be some story about how a specific employee made a customer's day, or something that a customer, funny or interesting, a fun fact that occurred with a customer. So I would like to take a minute for you guys to think, what could Acme's coffee company, what could be a culture that you guys start for your meetings to make you, different or stand out, or just a tradition that you could have, and just kind of bounce some ideas off of each other. Okay, so some of my ideas as far as a tradition that you can start, you guys could also start with, starting with a customer story, or you could have a thing where you guys tell each other something funny, like start with something funny that happened, whether at work or unwork related, or you have just the first 5 minutes of the meeting is a meet and greet. You kind of allow employees to go and meet or talk to someone new, that builds and strengthens those relationships and that networking throughout the company. So there's a wide range of things that you can do. The opportunities are endless. So I do think it's good to invest in time and spend some time thinking about what your company's tradition could be. Also, the Harvard Business Review has some things that are good for effective meetings, some of the do's, basically. That's going to be, it's always good to set a proper meeting time based on scheduling, availability, whatever is the best time for each individual and for the company as a whole. It's also good to set the meeting rules. Here's what we're going to be going over. I ask that you guys don't bring any cell phones in, or when you come in, leave your work there. Don't bring any computers, so we can have undivided attention. Just kind of set those rules and set the tone for the meeting itself. It's good to determine and discuss the goals. So again, what's the point of this meeting? Everybody wants to know kind of like why. What's the point of this meeting? What are we going over? How does this benefit the company? What role do I play in it? What do I need to do moving forward? And, what's the overall goal? And also, again, that plan of action to achieve those goals, which we kind of just went over. So having those things in place are going to ensure that you do, in fact, have an effective meeting for the company. So in conclusion, now that we kind of got to the end of it, we've touched on all of the topics at a higher level. Again, with the active listening, you do want to make sure that you're hearing your customer, per se, whether that's the actual customer or the employee. We want to make sure we're hearing, so therefore we can interpret and therefore we can resolve your problem. We do want to make sure we have effective communication amongst our team, so we all feel heard, we all feel valued, we're all comfortable with discussing, issues or problems with each other. We know how to properly communicate with each other, because again, you spend a lot of time with each other. Your dynamic is going to shape your experience at the Acme Coffee Company. And lastly, is going to be having those effective meetings. So we want to make sure we're setting the ground rules for the meeting. We're discussing the plan, the goal, the plan of action, how each of you tie into it, just so we can all leave here feeling clear and we're feeling like we know what's happening, the part we play, and we feel confident. I'm confident that with implementing all of these things into your company, you guys are going to excel. You're already doing a phenomenal job, so this is just only going to improve it more. With that being said, I do thank you so much for spending some time with me today and listening to my presentation. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out to me either by phone or by email. I'll be more than happy to address those for you. I'll be more than happy to go more in depth with any of specific topics, or all of the topics if you wanted me to. So my goal here at Dare to Care is to help you guys reach your goals and help you, excel and become competitive in the coffee world. So I do look forward to what is to come for the Acme Coffee Company. And again, I thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you.